Welcome to Fractured Chaos.
You ever meet someone who acts like your friend but studies your every move just to outshine you? Yeah, that was Tina. And after the third time she flirted with a guy I liked, knowing damn well I was into him, I stopped feeling hurt. I started making plans. My name's Fatima, and I'm about to tell you how I served revenge so cold it came with its own glacier. See, Tina had this thing about rich men. Fast cars, expensive dinners, vacation photos in private jets. She devoured that lifestyle like it was her birthright. The girl would literally screenshot Bentley interiors and save them to a folder labeled Future Life Goals. So when I decided to teach her a lesson, I gave her exactly what she craved, or at least what she thought she craved. A millionaire, tall, smooth, mysterious, and 100% unemployed. Introducing my cousin Chris. Now, Chris wasn't just any regular guy. He was that cousin who could talk his way into VIP sections, charm elderly ladies at the grocery store, and somehow always knew someone who knew someone. If there was a casting call for handsome man with mysterious past, Chris would book it without even trying. The only problem, his bank account had more tumbleweeds than a Western movie. But that's where I came in. I accidentally bumped into Chris at the gym while Tina was with me. She was wearing those leggings that cost more than most people's rent, talking loud enough for every guy in a 5-mile radius to hear how single and picky she was. Chris, God bless him, leaned into the role like he was born for it. He complimented her workout routine, even though she'd been standing by the water fountain for 20 minutes scrolling Instagram. He told her he only had time for women with substance and intelligence, which was basically catnip for someone like Tina, who thought having strong opinions about overpriced coffee made her an intellectual. Tina, she took that as a personal challenge. That same night, she texted me, "Girl, who was that fine man at the gym? He seems different." "Oh, you mean Chris?" I replied, playing it cool. "Yeah, he's not really looking for anyone right now. Too busy with his businesses." Then I waited exactly 36 hours. Just enough time for her obsession to marinate and reach that perfect level of desperation. When I finally texted her, "Chris asked about you today," she replied in literally 6 seconds, "Give him my number now." And that's when the long con began. Phase 1, the lifestyle. Chris started planning dates that looked like they were ripped straight from a billionaire's Pinterest board. Rooftop dinners with views of the city skyline, limo rides to exclusive jazz lounges that regular people couldn't even pronounce, designer watches that looked real from a distance but cost less than a tank of gas. The real MVP of this operation? My friend Kendra, who runs a luxury event planning service. She let us borrow props, custom menus, champagne bottles, even napkins with Chris's fake company logo, which, by the way, was just a stylized letter C that we found in a free font database. But here's the thing. I wasn't just watching this train wreck from the sidelines. Oh no. I was right there in the front row, smiling, cheering her on, being the supportive bestie she thought she deserved. Every time she gushed about Chris, which was constantly, I'd sprinkle in just the right amount of manufactured concern. Like, "Wow, he really seems into you. You don't think it's moving too fast, do you?" Or, "It's crazy how you finally found a guy who spoils you without asking for anything in return. That's so rare these days." Cue her eyes lighting up like she'd won the lottery twice in one day. Phase 2, the ring. 3 weeks into their fake fairy tale, Chris gifted her a diamond ring. Not an engagement ring, just a because you're special ring. One that I bought on Amazon for $49.99 and had delivered to his office, which was actually Kendra's workspace. She posted it on Instagram with the caption, "He sees the queen in me." The comments flooded in like a dam had burst. Goals: "You manifested this, sis. Secure that bag, queen. Drop the tutorial, please." But my personal favorite, a DM from my ex-boyfriend Marcus. "Yo, Fatima, your girl Tina's really winning out here. Maybe I should step my game up." Oh, it burned. And that's when I knew I had to go bigger, riskier. The finale was approaching and it needed to be spectacular. Phase 3, the escalation. By month 2, Tina was fully convinced she'd found her sugar daddy. She quit her part-time job at the boutique because Chris said a woman of my caliber shouldn't have to work retail. She started talking about moving in with him, meeting his family, planning their future together. Chris, meanwhile, was living his best life. Free dinners at expensive restaurants, courtesy of Kendra's connections, designer clothes borrowed from her various clients, and a fake Rolex that fooled everyone except the one jeweler who actually knew what to look for. The stories got more elaborate. Chris's business meetings in other cities, his investment portfolio, the family money from his grandfather's shipping empire. I was honestly impressed by how creative we were getting. But the best part? Tina started treating me like her personal assistant. Fatima, can you help me pick out an outfit for Chris's business dinner? Fatima, what do you think about this purse? Chris said I should get something nice for myself. I played along, of course, smiled, nodded, helped her choose outfits that cost more than Chris's actual monthly income. Phase 4, the setup. Tina's birthday was the perfect stage for our grand finale. She rented out this bougie rooftop lounge downtown and told everyone to come dressed like money. The invitation literally said, dress code, rich bitch energy. So obviously, I wore something I definitely couldn't afford. A dress I borrowed from my cousin who works in fashion. Had to return it the next day, but for one night, I looked like I belonged in Tina's fantasy world. Chris and I had been planning this moment for weeks. He'd show up fashionably late, like the classic high-value man he was pretending to be, dressed in a custom tuxedo that we rented from a theater company, and he'd bring a surprise that would make everyone lose their minds. The surprise? A briefcase, genuine leather, brass corners, the works. Inside, fake stock certificates, printed bank statements with carefully doctored balances, and the pièce de résistance, a fake deed to a penthouse in Dubai. We'd spent hours making everything look authentic. Watermarks, official-looking seals, even aged the papers with tea to make them look important and established. Phase 5, the performance. The party was in full swing when Chris arrived. Designer suit, confidence radiating from every pore, carrying that briefcase like it contained the secrets to the universe. People noticed, conversations paused, even the DJ seemed to lower the music instinctively. Chris made his way to Tina, who was holding court near the railing, telling her friends about her amazing boyfriend and his incredible success story. He got on the mic, raised a glass of champagne, and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for celebrating with us tonight. But most importantly, I want to thank the woman who's changed my life completely." He gestured to Tina, who was practically glowing with anticipation. "Tina, you've shown me what it means to be with a woman who appreciates the finer things in life. Someone who understands quality. Someone who deserves the absolute best." He opens the briefcase. The crowd gasps. Cameras come out. Instagram stories start recording. "So I want to give you something that represents our future together." The papers gleamed under the rooftop lights. The fake bank statements, the property deed, the stock certificates. "But before I hand this over," he continued, his voice getting quieter, more serious, "I've got one thing to confess." The music faded completely. Tina was grinning like she was about to be crowned Miss Universe. And Chris, he looked her dead in the eyes and said, "I'm not a millionaire. I'm not even employed. I live in my aunt's basement. Everything you've seen, the dinners, the gifts, the lifestyle, it was all borrowed, rented, or fake. Room goes silent. And you know who orchestrated this whole thing?" He pointed directly at me. Phase 6, the reveal. I walked forward, my heels clicking against the concrete like a countdown timer. Every eye in the place was on me. I could feel phones recording, capturing every second of what was about to become the most talked about moment of the year. I smiled sweetly, the same smile I'd been giving Tina for months, and said, "You flirted with every man I ever showed interest in. You studied my moves, copied my style, and tried to outshine me at every turn. So I decided to give you something you couldn't resist, a man who seemed perfect but was actually perfectly fake." I paused, letting it sink in. "Hope the ride was fun, bestie." Phase 7, the aftermath. Now, before you start feeling sorry for Tina, don't. She didn't scream, she didn't cry, she didn't even throw a drink. She laughed, a real, genuine laugh that caught everyone off guard. Then she grabbed a handful of cake from the dessert table and smeared it across Chris's face. "You know what?" she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "That was good. That was really good. I'm actually impressed." She turned to me, cake still on her fingers. "You got me. You really got me. But you know what's funny? I actually had fun. More fun than I've had in years." The crowd didn't know whether to laugh or call security, but then Tina did something that surprised everyone, including me. She grabbed the mic and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been the victim of the most elaborate, creative, and honestly entertaining prank of my life. And you know what? I respect the hell out of it." She started applauding. Slowly, others joined in. "Fatima," she continued, "you put more effort into this revenge plot than most people put into their actual relationships. And Chris, you're a better actor than half the guys on Netflix. 3 months later, Tina turned the whole experience into a viral TikTok series called I Dated a Fake Millionaire and Lived to Tell About It. She got 200K followers in the first week, brand deals with 3 different dating apps, and somehow turned being publicly humiliated into a career opportunity. Chris, he started getting calls from actual event planners who wanted to hire him for parties. Turns out, his performance that night had been so convincing that people thought he was a professional actor. He's now making decent money, doing exactly what he was pretending to do, being charming and mysterious at high-end events. And me? I don't regret it, not one bit. Sometimes the pettiest revenge doesn't destroy someone, it just humbles them. And in Tina's case, it also boosted her bank account. We're not best friends anymore, but we're not enemies either. We have a weird respect for each other now. She knows I'm capable of elaborate schemes, and I know she's capable of turning any situation to her advantage. The lesson here: be careful who you underestimate. And if you're going to flirt with someone's crush, make sure you're not getting played in 4K by someone who's been planning your downfall since the day you met them. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting creative. And trust me, I got very, very creative.